one of the things that you have been leading on is veterans healthcare issues. And I'm curious what you think the change in leadership and change in the makeup of the House might mean for the potential to be able to see some progress on veterans healthcare legislation.
I'm hopeful and really quite confident that looking ahead, we're going to be able to better deliver the end of the bargain that we in government have with our veterans and service members around the country by providing effective care, efficient care, higher quality care, without all of the extraneous things that have been going on here in the last 23 months. A great example is some of the healthcare bills for the VA and the veterans community that have come up here recently. They have, much to the chagrin of my colleagues, because I read the bills, I've noticed where they will tuck in diversity and inclusion training and certain boxes that need to be checked that are rooted more in a social cultural shift rather than actual healthcare. And that really does take away from the primary mission and scope of the VA, which is to take care of our veterans and their families. And so I think you're going to see a more direct approach to it. I want to see wait times come down. I want to see a real focus and emphasis on mental health counseling for those that have experienced military sexual trauma and have PTSD. I want to see a more collaborative effort between the VA and the private sector. We have so many veterans that live in rural America that are pretty far away from a clinic or a hospital system. And so taking advantage of ways that we can do telehealth and getting resources to them where they're at. We should be extending every opportunity and courtesy to our veterans to make sure that they're getting the healthcare, the answers, and everything that they need. I think every time that there's a roadblock thrown up, it just contributes to the narrative that's out there that the VA is continuing to grow into this giant bureaucracy that is more focused on building itself rather than serving the veterans. So I'm hopeful that we can strip a lot of that extraneous material out of the legislation, focus on what needs to be done, and then hold people accountable. This is a huge issue. When you have a veteran who comes to you as a member of Congress and they say, I've been waiting for an appointment or an appeal for years and I need answers. As a member of Congress, I can pull that file and say, hey, they're telling me that you didn't check a box or you didn't sign page 5 or whatever it may be. But then the system, now this is the unofficial system, but it's become common practice, where that file is in the queue, they move it to the very back. So they punish veterans for being proactive. That has to change. So there's some cultural things that we need to check within the VA system. And I come back to the premise that you cannot do enough to honor the contract that we have with our nation's veterans. And I think you're going to see a tremendous outreach effort in correcting a lot of the cultural issues, the bureaucratic red tape issues, and really getting back to the basics and focusing on care.